So then the next one was invasion of mainland Italy. That was September the 9th. This was 2 months after the Sicily invasion. So this time we loaded up British troops there.
In Tunisia.
Yeah, yeah. Either Tunis or Bizerta, one of the two. I forgot which. But and the same thing, you know. They had tanks and trucks and jeeps and whatnot. And but they the LST, they had room for 300. Plus some of the guys, they if it was summertime or warm weather, they slept right up on the deck, right in between their vehicles there. So that was scheduled for, let's see, September 9th, yeah, at Salerno, which is about 50 miles south of Naples. And 2 nights before the landing, if the landing was on a Friday morning, say this would say Wednesday night, Goodrich had a nice big party for all the British officers where alcohol was flowing and everything else, but none of the American officers were invited. And I had the watch up on the bridge there from 8 o'clock till midnight that night, and when I came off a watch, I came down to the wardrobe there. Somebody had thrown a cigarette in a wastebasket, and the thing was on fire.
You caught it and put it out.
The ship sinks because they kill themselves.
But that was Goodrich there. He sneered at his own people there, but he was an Anglophile, so a limey lover. So that Salerno landing was scheduled for the morning of the 9th of September, but we didn't arrive off of that area until that afternoon. So well, they can't all go in at the same time. So.
And this is 1943.
43.
Okay.
Yeah, 43. So when we came in there, the minesweepers. They swept a channel for us to go through. So we approached the Isle of Capri there, and then sailed along that coast. Oh, beautiful scenery! My goodness.
What was so beautiful about it?
Sheer cliffs there, 3,000 feet high. Well, it's a resort area in Italy. And then we sailed by this. Well, it's called Sorrento, I think there. So I think there's a song even Sorrento. So we had orders not to fire at the if the Germans fired at you from the cliffs there, not to fire back. Why, I don't know.
Was it to protect scenery, or?
Well, not that it was going to do much good anyway, I guess. So the guns that we had were mostly for anti-aircraft. So Goodrich he spots a little smoke up there on the cliff there. He orders the guy in the 3-inch gun on the stern to fire at the thing there, and he reports later that he made a direct hit.
Which may or may not be true.
It wasn't. You couldn't tell if you hit anything anyway. But that 3-inch gun, boy, that for that small gun that it was, it made the whole ship shudder. It was something else. Those 3 inches. So we went into the anchorage area there, and then we didn't go into the beach until like early the next morning, like I don't know, 5 o'clock in the morning there, and unloaded everything without incident. And by 6 o'clock or 6:30, we were all done and ready to go home or go back. But no, everything got off that morning. Well, in an hour and a half, completely unloaded. Yeah.
Fast.
That is really fast.
Yeah.
For that many?
Huh?
For that many people and all that?
Yeah. Well, they had if your trucks, if you're able to pull right up on the beach there, and the ramp lands right on the dry land there, you go right down the thing there. You unload the lower deck there, and then they got an elevator that would bring down the ones on the top deck there, one at a time there. So.
Did you ever see one of those in New York?
And so then after you unloaded in Salerno area, you unloaded to a beach or into a port?
On the beach.
Right on the beach.
Oh
okay.
yeah. No, that's the reason why when they didn't have any ports available, and they wanted a nice beach area so that the army would have plenty of room to maneuver when they got ashore.
Did you have any resistance from the Germans there, or Italians?
We didn't that day. No, they might have had. Like I said, we didn't go in there until the next morning, but the British there, they landed right outside of the town of Salerno, and the American troops, they landed further south, and they had a lot of resistance. In fact, they were almost pushed back into the sea. It was touch and go there, but they finally secured the beachhead there. But where the British went in there wasn't as much resistance though.
So then you went back to...
So then, then when they had enough ships, then they had a convoy to go back. They had because they needed, you had to have escort vessels there for submarines. We had no way of attacking submarines. So we didn't have the sonar and radar there, so they had.
You had no way to defend yourself.
No, not submarines. No, yeah, we had anti-aircraft guns and stuff. Yeah, but.
And what was your role, by the way, when you joined this 380? What was your position on the ship?
Well, I stood watches there.
You weren't the gunnery officer?
No, I don't know, assistant deck officer or.
Okay.
In the Navy, the deck the guy in charge of all the deck stuff, he's called the first lieutenant. So I was the assistant first lieutenant, whatever that meant. The first lieutenant did all the work. So.
In case he went to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a chance to use the anti-aircraft gun that time. Yeah. So we made a couple of trips. Maybe one back to Bizerti there with another load, and then the next time we went down to we headed to Libya, to Tripoli, and we went through the Straits of Messina there. The waterway that separates Sicily and mainland Italy. And I remember ordinarily when you're that close to land and stuff, the captain's supposed to be up on the bridge. And we went through there about 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 or 3 in the morning there, and I had the watch. And I don't know if it was a Freudian slip or what, but I remember in Latin, when I was in school, in the Roman mythology, you had the Strait of Messina there, and they had Scylla and Charybdis. Scylla was a beautiful woman there, and she was on the one side there, and she lured the, this is in Roman mythology, she lured the sailors there to her, and they'd be shipwrecked on her side. So then in order to compensate for that, they'd try and hug the other shore, and there was a big rock there, Charybdis. So either way there.
And you were going through this?
So, yeah, and so and we had orders that while you're going through there's going to be a course change, like for whatever reason was there, and so when the time came for the course change, well, we went through in a column there. I think we were like about the third ship in the of the 6 ships that were going through there, and so I was supposed to say hard right rudder. So we're going to make like a 40 or 50 degree turn. And all of a sudden I'm looking and we're turning left. We're turning left, and I yelled down to the helmsman. I said, "What are you doing?" He said, "You told me hard left rudder." I said, "I didn't. I said hard right rudder." Now maybe I did say hard left rudder.
No one will know.
Maybe it was Skilla there with.
She was luring you.
Yep.
Yeah. So we righted it, and so we proceeded through, and then we went down to Tripoli there, which is the capital of Libya. Which
Sorry to interrupt, but then you corrected the course real quickly.
Yeah. We were able to do it. Yes.
Okay.
So everybody's falling out of bed.
And Goodrich didn't know he didn't know the difference.
Because he wasn't on the bridge.
He wasn't
like
on
he
the-
was supposed to be.
And luckily nothing happened. Yeah, he was supposed to be. Actually, when you're maneuvering that close to land, the captain is supposed to be up
So
there.
it would have been his fault.
No, it would have been Ensign Swenson's fault.
You would have made it your fault.
Seaman Swenson.
Yeah, maybe. So when we Tripoli was it had been an Italian possession there, but the British had finally, they were back and forth there 3-4 years there fighting the Germans there across North Libya and Egypt and in there. So when we were approaching Tripoli, oh boy, it was hot. It was October, but it must have been 100 degrees. And we're about 10 miles out to sea. You could smell the place. Open sewers and whatever. Oh, what a stench! So, and it was, like I said, at least 100 degrees. But that's how primitive they were there. It was worse than China.
Where was this?
Tripoli,
Wow.
the capital of Libya. Yeah, that's where Muammar Gaddafi, I guess he's not our enemy anymore, is he? Did he say he was going to give up?
He's trying to make nice now.
Trying to make nice now, yeah. So anyway, we went down there and we loaded up with the British still had a lot of stuff down there, so we loaded up with more British troops and stuff, and then went back to. Then I think we made a second trip there, and then the next time in Italy we landed at Taranto or Taranto, they call it. That's in the heel there of Italy on the map there. And then after that we went back to Tunisia, to Bizerti there. And we were on there for, what is this now? This is September, October, yeah. So then the next thing, by that time they'd captured Naples there and they were able to use the port. So they had enough docks there. They didn't need, landing on the beaches anymore there in Italy. So then they said, well, the next thing you guys are going to be going up to England, get ready for the Normandy invasion, which was still several months away.
And you didn't really know why you were going to England necessarily.
Oh, we had a good idea.
Oh.
Yeah, we had a good idea. Why else would you be going up there? So then we loaded up there in Oran, in Algeria there with, we had Seabees, I think, and I think we had some army people there. And we were headed for Falmouth, England, which is in the southwest corner of England. So I'd say maybe 2,500 mile trip, I guess, from Oran up to England. And we hit one storm. There were 6 LSTs, and we had one escort, for the submarine against U-boats there. So, and we hit one storm there. Boy, it was something else. And I remember I had the watch there from midnight to 4 in the morning watch, and we turned right on our side there. the ship, but it righted itself, thank goodness.
And where was this?
Out in the Atlantic,
Where in the Atlantic?
probably Bay of Biscay, well, a couple hundred miles west of France. Yeah, but
Were you loaded with a lot of equipment?
not an awful lot. We had some stuff from we had we had CBs and some troops, I think.
But no tanks or anything?
No, this was not for an invasion or anything like that. So, but so by my morning, when it got light there, our group there is completely dispersed. There wasn't a ship in sight. There were six of us.
Oh,
Yeah, 6 of us and the escort, and so by 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, we all got together again. I don't know how, but we did. So yeah, so we made it into Falmouth, and we got there. We had we had Thanksgiving Day was aboard ship, and we had turkey and whatnot and stuff.
In the Falmouth port?
No, aboard ship on the way
Okay.
from Africa to. No, that's another thing about Christmas dinner. Another story about Goodrich. So we got to Falmouth. We were there a couple of days, and Goodrich was very generous, and he says, "All right, 2 of you officers can take a 5-day leave." And Mr. Riley and I, we drew the lucky straw, and so we went up to London for 5 days, and we on the train there. We got on the train, and we met a very nice couple there, and they owned a little hotel there in Falmouth. And but they said, "Oh yeah, we know exactly where you should stay when you go to London. You should go to the Cumberland Hotel and this and that. And when you come back, you can be sure to come and see us, and you're welcome at our place." They had a bar there and a nice hotel and everything. And we didn't have alcohol, but we had plenty of candy and cigarettes. So and they had a couple of kids there, so we were always welcome. We fed them loaded with chocolates and
At the Cumberland Hotel?
No, when we got back to Falmouth.
Okay.
Yeah. So
What did you do in London?
well, went to see the sights and stuff. Yeah.
Was there bomb damage in London?
Oh yeah, my goodness. Oh, that every night it was dark. I mean, they didn't have lights on at nighttime. After dark, everything was dark there, completely black.
Was there any bombing going on when you were there?
No, we had air raids here, but I mean, to them, to the locals there, they were so used to it by that time. It was second nature. So when the air raids, we went down into the lower level of the hotel there, and most of the people, the British there, same old stuff, you know. They were used to it, we weren't. So when we got back to the ship there, Christmas is coming up. So the U.S. Navy there, we were based there in southwestern England, the U.S. Navy. The Plymouth was there, about 50 miles from Falmouth there, and they sent out this is what your menu is going to be for Christmas dinner, you know, turkey and ham and mashed potatoes, sweet potato, whatever. So when Goodrich, when he saw this thing, and he says, "There's no cranberries on here. I gotta have cranberries." So by that time, the regular supply officer, he was on his leave up there in London. So Riley, the guy that I was with, we had to go out and get cranberries. So we went. Well, we didn't have any place, so we went, what are you going to use for transportation? So somebody said, hey, go to the Army has a transportation pool over here, so go over there and borrow one of their, you can borrow a Jeep from them. So, hey, so the storekeeper and Riley, he was the communications officer. He and the three of us, we went up to the Navy supply places. Well, no cranberries. They didn't have any cranberries. None of them had cranberries. Hey, they said, this is what the headquarters is. This is what the menu is. That's it. Quit beefing about it. I said, well, the skipper, he insisted. Oh. So finally, we must have driven 50 miles someplace and found another army supply place, and they had canned cranberries, jellied, you know. So we fortunately we'd taken some cigars and stuff along, and I guess a few steaks for for bartering purposes there. So we got our 2 cans of cranberries for Goodrich. We went back to the ship, and they put the Jeep aboard the ship and immediately painted the thing gray. The Army Jeep. We stole it.
And they're still looking for it.
Oh no. They got it back. So we applied back, Christmas dinner and everything, and Goodrich was happy. He got his cranberries. So.
And was he going to share them with anyone, or was it?
Oh
just
no,
for him?
everybody got their. No, he ate. Goodrich, he didn't even eat with the other officers. He ate by himself in his own room there. He wouldn't associate with us scum.
Oh, that's so lonely.
Wow.
Yeah. No, that's the way he liked it. Yeah, no,
Where is he now? Do you know?
Huh?
Where is he now?
I hope down there. We're going into Plymouth there, and they have the tides and the currents there. It's true, on the English Channel are tough. I mean, between high and low tide, there's like 18 feet difference.
Oh, wow.
Vertical.
Wow.
Yeah, wow, it's right. So you leave a boat there at by low tide, the thing it's dry. So, yeah, but like at the Normandy beaches, they're horizontally there. You could be a whole quarter of a mile. There'd be open land there, so open beach there. But they actually had in Japan. You had the same thing. The vertical was 18 feet there. So this one day we were going into Plymouth there, and we were supposed to tie up at a buoy there out in the harbor there, and so like I said, the tides and the currents, they can be pretty tough, but so we're going back and forth. Goodrich, he was conning the ship there, so. Back and forth, and finally the sailors on the British and American ships there, we were the laughing stock. Back and forth, it must have been 2 or 3 hours. We're trying to get to hook onto this buoy there. So, oh boy. So finally we got the thing secured, and so the next morning, Goodrich calls a meeting of the officers, and and of course he's embarrassed. Well, he wouldn't admit it, but he probably was about this fiasco the day before of trying to moor the ship to this buoy there. So he's blaming it all on the coxswain of the small boat there, who was. A young kid. So I was the assistant first lieutenant. I was up at the bow with the phones on, giving orders down there to do this and do that, whatever. And I said, Captain, I said, Murat, yeah, I think his name was Murat. I said he did everything that he was ordered to do. He carried out the orders as he was instructed to do, and I said I don't know why he should be blamed for this thing. So he more or less told me to shut up, and then he kept on again with this thing about this poor enlisted guy that he was going to pin all the blame on for this dismal job of mooring the ship the day before. So I said it. I said it again. I said, Captain, I said he did everything that he was told to do and everything else. Mr. Swenson, you're confined to your room for 5 days. Well, Riley was already in his room.
It's like he got grounded.
Yeah. So
Same concept.
Yeah.
well, Riley, every day they had to change the recognition signals, the lights and stuff. You know, so in case you were in, you're underway after dark there, and you saw some unknown vessel there, you had to exchange recognition signals there, and they changed them at midnight every night. So Riley had gotten off watch there at 12 o'clock, and I'd taken over, and the captain, for some reason he came up there and he wanted to know if the recognition signals had been changed. Get Mr. Riley, he's the communications officer. So Riley got him out of his sleep there. He'd just gotten off of the watch there. He's bleary-eyed, comes up on the con there and said, Mr. Riley, have you changed these things? Riley said, how the should I know?
So you got grounded.
Mr. Riley, you're confined to your quarters for 5 days. So by the time, so Riley, he's serving his 5 days, and so now here, Swenson has to go in there, so he's short a watch officer there. So Riley's released there after 3 days, and I had to go there. In the meantime, they had enlisted men in the brig there, and guys waiting to their turn to go in the brig. You could only have one at the time in the brig there.
But you didn't have to be in the brig. You were in your room.
In my room there, and they served my meals there, and you were allowed to go up on the deck there for 1 hour exercise.
So that's actually a vacation.
Huh?
It's actually a vacation.
Yeah, it was, but the only thing, it doesn't look good on your record if the guy if he decides to pursue it. So anyway, so I thought to myself, hey, this is a good time. I'm going to write a letter and get off this hell ship. So I remember that I'd asked the guy when he sent me there that night. I said, "Can you make it temporary duty?" So I wrote the letter requesting to transfer back to my original ship there, but any official business has to go through the commanding officer. So it had to go through. So the yeoman, he typed the thing up there, and then had to go to the captain, and he read the thing, sent it back. So the next day I wrote another one, and the third day I wrote another one. So then he decided, well, maybe this guy wants to offer this ship. So he wrote a big, long, single-space typewritten letter, not an official letter, to the flotilla commander's assistant there, and gave me orders to leave the ship. At 6 o'clock in the morning, I was had all my stuff there, and they took me ashore, and I had orders to deliver this letter to the. But we were, like I said, we were in Plymouth there, and the commander of that thing was in Falmouth. So I had to, when I got ashore, I had to find some way to get from there to from Plymouth to Falmouth there. So, but anyway, so I thought, hey, now I got an opportunity to tell the world what kind of a place this is and everything else, and So when I got to Falmouth there, to the commander's office there, he wouldn't see me. He said the commander is giving orders that if you ever do this thing again, that's it. You'll be court-martialed. So, but he's gonna assign you to another ship, the 344, but it's up in Northern Ireland right now. So, they got a tough skipper on that ship there. But in the meantime, they put me up in the hotel. Not the one that I knew the people from, but a different one where all the Navy people, officers and Red Cross people and nurses and whatnot lived there. So, but I never got a chance to tell the commander about what a rotten ship that was or anything like that. No way. They backed Goodrich to the hilt. So I had to report in every day to the office there and find out about the 344, another LST that I was supposed to go on, and no, it's still up there. So by Thursday they said, okay, you're free to do anything you want until Monday. Don't come back till Monday. So I had every weekend free. I went to London a few times and whatnot, and. Hey, a nice room there in the hotel and everything else. And finally, after about 3 weeks of this, they got tired of seeing me, and they gave me train fare to go all the way up to Northern Ireland there to get on the ship, the 344. So the train went from down there up to London. You got the train, and it took you up to Scotland. And then the train ferry there between Scotland over into Ireland there, and then into Londonderry. And so when I reported aboard, the tough skipper Hensley, he was also a Mustang. When he heard that I came off a Goodrich's ship, oh, I'm glad to see you. Everybody hated his guts. I think some of them were jealous of him, but because he was a nasty person.
Yeah.
So
was that skipper tough?
he was nice to me.
Oh, he was?
Yeah,
Oh.
he was nice to me. But then, I don't know why it took so long there, but they were putting on some additional equipment or something rather for getting, ready for the Normandy invasion there, but which was still quite a ways away. This was still like February, so then I think I'd been on board about 2 weeks, and all of a sudden they got orders. They had to send one officer to some little town down in southern England for some kind of a project there. And I was the newest one aboard the ship there, so I was it.